Hi everyone, it's Elaine Hamilton, and I am delighted to be chatting with two more authors on our new book, Reiki Lights, that has just been published last week. And if you want to buy it, I hope you will. The link to Amazon is in the content below. So I'd like to introduce Svetlana and Aeriel today. They are part of the collaboration of the 13 Reiki Masters that got together to write this book. And today we're just going to talk about a little bit more around why they wanted to participate in the book, some of the learnings, and we'll just see what else happens and pops out. So, hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
So why don't we start? Why don't just introduce yourself a little bit about what's your background and what made you want to participate in the book? What was some of the things that kind of spurred you on to go, yes, include me?
I go first because,
Okay.
to be honest, it's really a very, very last minute decision for me. And I don't even know why, to be honest. It kind of just like, it felt like, something is pushing me and like, okay, I need to do this or I had to do this. And like, I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to just, sign up and then see what happens. Yeah.
Nice. Because you've been doing Reiki for a long time, right?
Yeah, I have been doing practicing for like 20 years and then a few years of being like a teacher on and off. I was doing a corporate job, so I didn't go full time into it, and it was only the last few years that I stepped into thinking about teaching at full time. And then I feel like, oh, this whole universe must be conspiring to push me to something. Then I kind of, okay, maybe it's just something I needed to do. So then
I
I
mean,
decided.
it is really interesting because when I first put the note into our community group, I was like, "Hey, anybody want to do this?" Honestly, I was so surprised by the amount of energy behind the response, which
Mm.
almost I always think is a very good omen because there's often when there's such a gathering of energy and community like that, I honestly think it translates into the book. And then when you read it and you read all the different stories and how there's certain threads, and we were talking about this in the last interviews around the coming back to self, which is really extraordinary, right? And all 13 of us really had very, very different backgrounds, cultures, start points. Some of us, like yourself, Aeriel, have been doing Reiki for 20 years. Some had only just really discovered Reiki in the last 4 or 5 years. Really quite extraordinary. So, yeah, interesting. So for you, it was just kind of, you're going to do this.
Yes.
And Svetlana, how about you? What was your impetus?
So for me, actually, because my journey with Reiki was quite interesting, and especially my what happened after Reiki Master, it was almost like in a movie. I
Yeah.
was myself feeling like I'm watching a movie. I'm not a participant, but I'm like watching what's unfolding in such a way. And I remember some of my friends were like, "Wow, it's so interesting. Maybe one day you should write a book about how all of this align and happened." And it was kind of in my mind, maybe one day I can share how magical Reiki can be just beyond the physical modality, but in a way how it can change our life path, how it can bring people and situation into our lives which would not come if we would not be in alignment with our energy, and how the change of energy change our outside world. So then you said it. I'm like, oh my God, this is a perfect opportunity to
Another
share
magical
my
moment.
journey without overcommitting to the whole book,
Yeah.
because whole book sounds quite a lot, even though maybe I'll one day, who knows.
Well, now you got a taste for it, right?
Yes, so now, so then you said it, I'm like, yes, the universe had me. I jumped in. And then, of course, after I jumped in, I start having a lot of this, like, oh my God, doubts. And can I really actually do it? English is not my native language. I never written. But I'm extremely happy I've done it. And the power of the community, the power of all of us coming together was indeed very helpful and very useful to write a book. And the other reason also, I think I really wanted to do it, apart from sharing my own journey, is I realize as I teach Reiki and I speak about Reiki to people, I realize how much misconception people have around Reiki. It's just like crazy. I don't know where they're getting it, how they're getting it. And a lot of people really think that it's a magic pill,
Mm.
right? That if we learn it, it have to work immediately. It have to fix all our problems, and if it doesn't fix our problems, it doesn't work. And I'm like, people, that's not how it works.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because that's not how anything works. Like I don't even know
Exactly.
why people have this conception. And I think they have it a lot. You're right
Yeah.
around this idea that, and I also wonder because when you look at everybody's story from beginning to end, and you were just looking at the end bit and you didn't look at the journey people went through, it does look pretty magical, right? So like you yourself, it's like you first started off, you were a lawyer, you were in a high stress job, you were this, that, and the other, and now it's like you couldn't be more different in that sense, right? So if I was looking in at you and you were my teacher, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so magical. And I think that's where the stories are so powerful because they show you the amount of work we all had to do in order to kind of get to this magical end bit. And we're still going, right?
Totally. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so powerful because people only see, as you were sharing now, people only see that butterfly, but they're missing all this in between struggle and going inwards and going into the darkness and going through all of this. And they think if they are not seeing the end effect right away, then the Reiki doesn't work
Yeah.
or anything what they do. So this culture of instant gratification, I would call it, right?
Mm.
Nowadays, we are so much into the instant gratification mode. If something doesn't work within a week or two or three, next one, next one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
like that
this is
scrolling, isn't it? It's like next, next, next. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think this book is so powerful and our stories are so powerful that it does not work like magic, but it does work. It's just that the journey is so much deeper and in a way not linear, but rather spiral. And that's what I understood while I read a lot of other stories, right? That it is about this spiral. There is always, it's never just up. You have to go down sometimes in order to come up. And I think that's what been for you, Aeriel, also, right? In your story.
Yeah. I think the most profound moment in writing the book is actually reading other people's story and then realize, oh my God, like everyone is different. How it started is different, personality is different, background is different. But then there's such a profound relationship at the end of the day for every one of us, 13 of us. It's like
Yeah.
how amazing that is. Just reading it, I was like tearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're really right. And it again, it's the theme that kept on coming up in terms of almost like when we're children, we have a certain alignment, right? And then somehow or other, as we start to adult, we kind of, the natural state of our being wants to go this way, and then somehow or other we end up going this way. It's almost like the further we go, the more, well, I wouldn't say traumatic, but the more bumpy the ride is to
Yeah,
get right.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh.
then you mentioned about this, Elaine. I really remember when I was a child, I wanted to be a psychologist. And my parents back in Russia told me, psychologist, well, you want to work with the difficult kids or with people who get out of prison. So their understanding of psychology in post-Soviet Union was like, you don't want to be there. But that was my soul calling because I was always fascinated to understand how the mind works and I wanted to understand people. But my parents pushed me into the law just because that's what was supposed to be successful, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of this journey, when I was out of my alignment, this is why I believe we start creating a health problem, emotional problem, and all the stress because we are not doing what we truly want to do, but we are following that script the
Yeah.
society impose on us, our parents impose on us, the one which we see in social media, the one which we see in movies, where it's all about high achieving, doing this, that, and be successful. And then we are like feeling terrible on the inside.
Yeah.
And that what I think the Reiki helps, it makes us first of all become aware of it. Because usually we are not even aware why do we feel miserable
Yeah. Yeah,
and why
exactly.
things are just
Yeah.
not flowing.
Well,
And
it's almost like, oh, I mustn't be working hard enough, or I mustn't be doing enough,
Yes.
or I mustn't be the something, rather than maybe I'm doing the completely wrong thing, you know? It's like, maybe that's it. But instead, we just work harder, we work faster, we work, you know, and we look around us and everybody else seems to be doing okay. So therefore, but I always think the bigger question is everyone else doing okay, or are they just not quite at the break point yet? Or,
mm,
you know, or maybe they are actually on their right path. So it's kind of working pretty well for them. But I think for those of us who find Reiki, and that was the other theme that came through, right? There was this feeling amongst all of us that there's something not quite right, right? Like you say, why am I so miserable? Why am I so unhappy inside?
Mm.
Yeah. So Aeriel, your story is focused slightly differently, but it's also, I don't know whether you could say it's cultural or whether it's more, you know, in terms of the having to try and fix relationships and family. And I don't know, do you want to speak about that?
Yeah. I think like my team, I can't run away from this team, you know. For years and years, it's like relationship become like a main thing in my life. It's you know, and then you thought that you fix one relationship with this person, then there is something else that comes up like another relationship, and then this is done, and then this relationship is like, oh my God. And relationship, it's really huge in our life, in everybody's life, right? We know it's important. We like tons of like self-help or like, you know, lots of people about relationship expertise in it's advising like how to manage the relationship. And I was doing all of this and I was using like Reiki to like support me, and I thought I was like managing it really well, you know, until it has like really tear down everything, and then to let me see the raw part of things that I didn't want to see in
Yeah.
relationship. And I think that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
interesting what you say. It's almost like the Reiki supports you or gives you some kind of inner strength so that when the whole thing starts to fall apart, that there's something in you that you're ready for it, right? That you can cope with it.
Yeah. I really think like if I didn't have the practice for so many years, you know, when the huge thing happened, it's gonna be huge, like totally crush me.
Yeah.
But then I was able to kind of pick myself up again within an actually short time frame of
Yeah.
going through all the grief and transition and stuff like that. And I'm like, when I talk to people, they were like, "You mean this just happened? 2 years? You mean? Huh?" It felt like a story sounds like 10 years ago. I'm like, no. He's like, how do you look like that? I'm like, how do I look like what? Pretty calm, you know, and yeah. And it's just like, okay, I'm able to pick this up and I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I amaze my own self, you know, through the entire transition. Yeah.
It is interesting because when you're going through it yourself, it's almost like, oh my God, this is so hard. But then when
Yeah.
you pop out or pop through the other end and you look back, I don't know if you found that as you were writing the chapter, is like the beginning point and the end point feels
Oh,
so, and I guess this comes back to what we were saying before, so magical in a sense of the achievement and the orientation back into a really strong sense of alignment,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
And then you really
Yes.
get this feeling that, wow, something magical really happened. So you can see
Yes.
why our students are like, whoa, I expect this to happen in a week. But
Yes, yes, exactly. And this is why I think the book like this, Elaine, is so important
yeah,
because then people read this story and they realize that this magic is not overnight and that going through the challenges, all of this is part of the journey.
yeah,
Because what I face with a lot of my students, they learn symbols, right? And then they think that if they send symbols to harmonizing, that means everything will go just perfect and aligned. And then it does not go as they think or as they try to push things to go. And they're like, maybe Reiki doesn't work.
yeah,
I was one of them who was doubting. So I think this book will give people understanding that it's not the path is not so linear, and sometimes what we think is good for us and where we are pushing the life to go is not necessarily where it will go at the end.
yeah,
And
yeah,
these stories, every story I read, it's showing that the good end is a result of a lot of struggle.
yeah. Yeah. And actually for a lot of it is exactly like you say. It's kind of like you send Reiki and you do it, and in your mind you're like, oh, this is gonna fix my relationship, or this is gonna fix my life. And then you realize you get to a point you're like, oh damn, I need to walk away from this. Like I need to actually stop doing this toxic behavior with this toxic person or company or whatever and leave.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people, when you say that to them in the beginning, they'll be like, no, 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 I can't, because they can't imagine that they have the strength to do it. But then as you're
Yes.
doing the Reiki, somehow or other, it becomes not only obvious that you have to do it, but also natural. Does that make sense? Right? It's like,
Yes.
well, this is the next step. I can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you're like, why did I even put up with this for so long? It's like, what was I thinking? Like, oh no, this is so simple, this happened
Right.
10 years ago. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's you cannot really define very specifically what does Reiki do to you, but somehow through the life, through the journey, through everything, when you look back, you know exactly what that is for yourself.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
for me, actually, then you were sharing, Aeriel, that like that we don't know what Reiki does, and as you were sharing, Elaine, I got a very clear image pop up. It's almost you have invisible friend who is walking by your side, and then you are like walking on a very hard path. It lifts you up and help you to carry. So it does not prevent all of this struggle and difficult roads. You will still have to go through the mess. But for to me, how it's felt, it's that you don't have to walk through this mess alone.
Mm.
You have literally some invisible force which will help you make it lighter, or just give you an energy to walk. Because sometimes all we need, or give a trust that, okay, I know it's hard, but for whatever reason, it's happening for my highest good. I need to go through this, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, rather than being sinking in your misery and thinking, why did it happen to me? Why did I deserve that?
Yeah.
For me, the
Yeah.
biggest thing with Reiki I've learned also is that stop looking at the things as a problem, but start seeing them as a lessons.
Right.
And this is what I think working with the labels and sending, especially to the root cause, was so beneficial because very often you don't see the lessons initially. You only see their problem, the issue. And once you go deeper within and using Reiki tools to actually do some reflection and deeper dive, then you realize, wow, okay, this lesson is actually here for my growth. And then 10 years down the line, you're like, thank you so much. I went through it. I'm so happy.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to say is like it might feel so one of the things that I think many of us have learned is when you hit the challenge, even though in the beginning it can feel really scary, the more challenges you walk through with Reiki, the more you trust the outcome. And almost as that happens, the shorter the tunnel.
Yeah, yeah, true. The
Right? Because
moment you
you're just like,
completely
oh,
trust and surrender, if you surrender and trust, it's short. The more you try to control and struggle, the longer it becomes, for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
it's really interesting though, isn't it? So it's almost like we put ourselves, like we have to walk through this dark tunnel. And we know we have to walk through this dark tunnel. And in the beginning, we're like screaming and struggling and grabbing the walls. And, why me? Why me? And then we're like, oh, it's okay. And then the more we do it, the more we're like, oh, another tunnel. And we almost start running through it, right? Going, oh, it's fine. There's going to be light at the end of it. So yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? With time and, like you say, with reflection. So we actually look back and we review and we see that things are getting easier and quicker, and we can let go quicker. We have less fear, we have more courage,
Mm,
which is
yeah.
kind of weird that it all happens just by putting our hands on ourselves. And sometimes I ponder this, I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah.
happening?
And that's an interesting thing because a lot of people think that Reiki is all about only removing a physical discomfort and feeling better.
Yeah.
And yes, a big part of it is this, right? Like I think I shared, Aeriel shared a lot in her chapter how it's helped with the physical discomfort. It's so much, it's a lot of help, but this is only a small part of what Reiki is. And a lot
Yeah.
of people have no idea of how much more powerful it is beyond the physical realm, beyond the physical help it offers.
Yeah.
And it's
Mm.
almost, to me, it feels like, okay, I'll help you with the physical part so you can go and fix the real issues now.
Yeah. The root cause
The
of all
root
your
cause.
pain and
Yeah.
suffering.
Because if you're not fixing the root cause, then these health issues will come back.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And I think finding and getting to the root cause is why this tool is so powerful, I feel.
Yeah.
And and on the other hand, why it might be so undervalued, because we are so used to just focusing on what's seen, what is on the surface, and we don't want to look
Yeah.
at
And it's
the
almost
root.
like you go down in fact, Eric, I think you said this, that in terms of Reiki will take you as deep as you want to go.
Yes, I just thinking about like Lana say, like how like people think that practice have to be complicated to have good results, but
Mm.
Reiki, it's really one of the simplest tool that you can have. Like you say, just put your hands and this can happen. Over time, like blows everybody's mind, blows my mind. Like
Yeah.
yes, and but it also means that people think, oh, something so simple can't be doing this much.
Yeah,
So this is
totally.
also the misconception of, oh, Reiki is so simple. Yeah,
Too simple.
yeah, too
Right.
simple. And but then we're like, the world is very complex already. This is one of the simplest thing you can have. Why not?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is the favorite thing that I like to tell people, which is what I remember Elaine said to us. You doesn't add on to your extra luggage. It's all in your hands. You go anywhere with it. You don't have to pack anything with you. And I'm like, this is the best tool I have. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, really? But I think you also touched on a good point in that it's kind of like we can do, like, we know lots of people who do this and don't, and just kind of bounce down. Once it gets a bit difficult, they bounce back up again, right? So there is the simplicity of being with the energy and with yourself, but also something in us kind of needs to want to look, right? So it's that deep, it really is that you can go as deep as you want. So you can bounce around and you can just use it for stress relief and do whatever, which the majority of people do. Or you can really go, right, let's look into the tunnel and let's see what's there. right? So that's something that all the authors, I think, have in common, is that desire to dig deeper.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
what I also feel is, and we was talking about it with Aeriel the other day, is the other thing what I notice Reiki does, it's awaken your unique gift and abilities. And what we notice, a lot of people start with Reiki and then they go to all the other different modalities
Mm.
and they find something else and they kind of uh, forget to, or maybe don't realize that Reiki was that door opening for them to find these modalities, to actually feel drawn to all of these modalities. Like I learned a lot of other modalities after Reiki, and a lot of them are very profound. They work with with the Akashic record, the ancestral healing, etc., etc. But I always remember that without Reiki opening that door of spirituality for me, I would never be able to even get there, even believe in all of this. So to me, Reiki is like literally, I remember you shared it, it's opening of the door of that new world of spirituality or energies, that subtle realm. And once you walk through it, the Reiki open the door, then you can do whatever you want, right? You can stick
Yeah.
with Reiki, you can go to all the other modalities. But a lot of people, what I feel is forgetting and forget to contribute it to Reiki, that it was Reiki which opened the door.
Yeah. And maintain that personal practice, right?
Yes, and
They
maintain
kind of
that
just
personal
leave it
practice.
behind.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's the main, like, what's the main reason people should buy the book?
For me, I think, um, like it's just stories of very ordinary people
Mm.
having extraordinary or very profound relationship with Reiki, which I feel like, if people can read and understand that this actually happened to people like really ordinary, like in our life, and have real and raw experience, something that they can resonate with, you know, it's what I hope that this book can make people see Reiki in a different light, and also like curious enough to find out how this self-help tool can be in a practice in their life as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
So for me, after I read a lot of stories, I realized how many uniquely different experiences there are among 13 of us, right?
Yeah.
And I also understand from working with a lot of clients that a lot of people going through challenges, but they think alone. They think that's their unique problems.
Yeah.
And so many times I hear people, but you don't understand, I have this. But you don't understand, I have that. But if you look at it, most of our problems are actually quite universal.
Yeah.
They are unique in their own way, yet they are more similar than we realize. So I think once people will read this book, they will recognize themselves in some of the authors, and they're like, "Oh my God, I went through it. I felt this way. I've experienced this," and they will. It will give them a hope that even the
Yeah.
people who go through serious issues, health problems, relationship challenges, all the issues we were saying in the book, there is, as you said, the light at the end of the tunnel, and they will encourage them to actually come back to Reiki.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people learn it, but they're like, I don't know if it's working, not working. I'm kind of not know it, but I don't do it. And they drift. So I do hope that some of the people who drift will read it and like, okay, it will encourage them to practice.
Yeah.
And those who are just curious about what Reiki is will actually learn it because it will spark the curiosity. And those who practice it on the superficial level will be encouraged to go deeper and know that they will be always supported. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Well, I'm so happy to be able to chat with you guys. And as I said, the book's out already. Please download it. You can also Kindle it. And hopefully you get you get as much out of it as we got out of it, participating in it, writing and learning from each other. It's been absolutely lovely talking to you guys. And yeah, good luck with everything. Enjoy.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.